Okay guys, so here's the deal. Selling firewood, you know, you take firewood to people, they put it in their fireplaces. Well, here I am, I'm at a museum. They called and asked for a donation of firewood. They have a display that they're thinking of doing. And this really isn't just any museum. This is the Youngstown Historical Center of Industry and Labor, what the locals call the Steelworkers Museum. And if you've been following my channel, you know that Dad was a retired steelworker. So this is kind of a big deal for me. And I also brought along Dad's retirement helmet that he got from his many years as a steelworker. I just thought it'd be a way to have Dad along with me as we go in. All right, guys, so it's a little chilly out here today, so let's go on in and let's see what's going on inside the museum. Okay, guys, so we're inside here at the lobby. I want you to meet a very nice lady who runs this museum. Her name is Nikki. Come on this way. This is Nikki. She's the director of the Steelworkers Museum. That's what I call it.
Yeah, you can.
And Nikki, say hello to the world.
Hi, world. He's close. We do commonly refer to this place as the Steel Museum. That's because the real name is the Youngstown Historical Center of Industry and Labor.
Yeah.
Steel Museum.
Yeah, so the city of Youngstown, the Mahoning Valley, has a very rich history of the steel industry, and the museum is here. So, Nikki, I brought the requested firewood, and I am honored to donate this to the museum.
So thank you so much.
And I thought, you know, my dad, I was telling you about, he was a retired steelworker. He was an iron worker. He made sure to say that. I brought his retirement helmet along. I thought maybe it'd just be a way for him to be along with me while we're on this tour.
I think that's great, and I am way more interested in that. So I'm going to trade you because I would never, nobody here would ever say no to a fantastic helmet like this one.
Yeah.
This one's a swell looking one.
Yeah, he was very proud of that. He earned his helmet. He was in the, he's an iron worker, 43 years. Actually, it was 46. He always said he got cheated out of 3 years because of his time in the Army.
Oh, no.
Because the rules were different back then.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Joe, thanks so much for the firewood. I think I have just the spot.
Yes.
If you want to take a little brief tour with me,
can
maybe you can carry it for me and I'll show you where.
I'd love to. I love this museum. I used to visit this with Dad when he was still alive, and I'm excited to let you guys see it too.
Huh? Cool. Awesome.
All right,
here we go.
Come this way.
All right, Joe, I think you have just the spot for this.
All
this
right.
is a model of worker housing that was, it's modeled after about the time of 1918 and the mid-teens. This would have been state-of-the-art then.
Oh, wow.
So this is a model of what the housing would have looked like. This is the kitchen area. This would have been state-of-the-art at the time. These are the 19-teens. If you're coming from another area of the world where maybe situation isn't so good, you're getting a good job, a nice home for your family, and some opportunity. I mean, this would have been state-of-the-art at the time, but there was still a lot going on.
Maybe one of your interns can take off the 20th century cellophane.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a fourth wall breaker right there.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, okay. So this is really cool. Show us some. Show us the locker room. I always like the locker room.
I will. And all of the mills have their own sports teams, like bowling or basketball or baseball or even football. So a lot of those things were going on here. Later into the time, you know, you could have gone to Idora Park with the family on the weekend, so that's where you were spending your good time.
Yeah. So my dad's favorite part of the museum was the locker room. Let's go look at the locker room, guys.
So this was one of my favorite parts too, and when I very first began giving tours here in this building, every time I would walk into this room, I could smell the smell of my dad's shop clothes when he came home. Because the mill has a certain smell, and I could smell that for a long time until I had been in here thousands of years. This is early ingenuity.
This is how the lockers used to be.
Right. So it just takes a pulley at the top, and then you have the key to your lock, but it keeps everything off the ground. Here's the Communal hand sink.
All right. I see some cobalt lenses for. I remember these from Dad's time at the blast furnace.
Yep.
Water fountains, and then you got your more modern lockers here.
Yeah, we tried to use these these as a way to display each of the different decades and the things you might be seeing in, in print at the time, things you would have been listening to, things that you would have been aware of during those particular decades. So you see some things there that are interesting.
All right.
Joe, you know what a blooming mill is?
I have heard of a blooming mill. That's a steel worker's term.
Yes, it is. I can show you some of that because we actually have one right here in the building.
The real thing.
With an original pulpit straight out of the mill. So
all right.
let me show you that.
Show me that. So Nikki, how long has this museum been here? We're on the campus of Youngstown State University, right?
Yeah, we're actually just off campus, between campus and downtown.
Yeah.
This building was purpose-built to house the museum. There was an architect named Graves who designed it, and he very specifically put features in it that are reminiscent of the mills and some of the structures that you see in the mills.
Yeah.
It's been here since '92, so just over 30 years. You know, we have a great relationship with the university and the Ohio History Connection, and they both contribute to the ability of our community to support us, get us in place here for us to have great interns and students and create an environment where we can educate the kids in the community and so they can know their own background.
Excellent. Nikki, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I am the Employee of the Month at Ohio Woodburner.
I had heard that.
Yes. It's a prestigious award. It brings a lot of responsibilities. But I'm looking at some medals here, probably from the steelworkers used to win, maybe, or but this is giving me some ideas on some new awards at the Woodyard.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So you could, show your bling to show off how well you're doing. This is the pulpit to the blooming mill.
Oh wow!
So this is why we have such a big and hefty service elevator, and they actually built this portion of the building around this, if I understand the lore correctly, because this is the actual thing. We cut out the top so that you could see how the mechanism works. These two gentlemen be working together in complete unison, and I've had several of the guys who have done this job in the past come and tell me I was like one man with 4 arms, but they're one of them is moving the device laterally and the other one is moving it in opposition to that in order to reshape the bars.
Yeah.
But they're huge. I'll be able to take you downstairs and show you the model of what that bar looks like.
Oh wow, so you got a basement in this place too?
Oh, there's a lower level that's a full gallery, and there's also an upper level that has archives, which is a whole different story.
All right, well how about we go check out the basement then?
Let's do it.
All right.
So here's the bottom of what we were just looking at, Joe. We were looking at the pulpit from above.
We were just up there, and now we're down in the basement
now
here.
Now we're below, and you can see sort of it gives you a better perspective for how kind of big some of these machines were, and you can see the situation that's going on there. Here are the mechanisms that they're working with. Those handles that you saw, the two men inside of there working the two handles.
Yeah.
What they're doing is they're taking this piece of bar and they're flipping it back and forth, and they're reshaping it.
I mean, this is red hot steel, and they're shaping it. It's still hot enough to be shaped, and these guys are working around. You can see how thick the windows are for the heat and all, and
Well, and if you can see their little helper who's out here keeping his eye on things, he's dressed to the nines. Things fly off of it, little embers will fly off of it. It's a dirty environment, and the safety issue can never be overstated because it was dangerous work.
Yeah. You got an actual blooming mill here at the Steelworkers Museum in Youngstown, Ohio, guys.
Fantastic.
All right. All right, well, Nikki, how about let's keep going. Show us what else we got.
Of course, there's all kinds of stuff.
Nikki, I am looking at a very famous mural. It's a important picture, and it's a sad picture. This is, I know what this is. This is the Brier Hill Works. This was all of their blast furnaces, and it's in every textbook in the country, unfortunately. But this is the end of an era, falling down like dominoes. They dynamited all of these blast furnaces. This was the Brier Hill Works here in Youngstown, and they have it on the wall here at the Steelworkers Museum.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the reason that it's in all the textbooks is because it exemplifies what was going on, but that wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
It's such a dramatic picture that it really brings the reality of the end of an era to light with one image.
Yeah.
So it's very helpful in that sense.
Right.
It is kind of disappointing though.
Yeah. All right, so Nikki, I'm raising 2 daughters, And what I'm seeing here hits close to home. What are we looking at here?
Well, I'm very, very fond of this image. So this giant image here is of Rosie the Riveter version that we had here in Youngstown. These girls we called tin flippers. They had some labor shortages. All the guys were off at work. And so the girls came in to help. And these girls, it was discovered that they were very good at quality control, finding flaws quickly. So they're actually flipping quickly through some very thin sheets of metal, very quickly determining, is it good? Does it have a flaw? If it has a flaw, it goes back to the scrap, but if it's good, it goes on to become something needed for the war effort.
Oh, wow.
So this is our hometown version of Rosie the Riveter, and it's one of my favorite images in the building, just because it's such a cool thing. It was a great opportunity for women to have some advocacy for themselves with some dollars.
All right. I like it. Great story, Nikki.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
So the museum isn't just like steel mills like what we all know, modern stuff. I mean, this is showing the humble beginnings, right, of with a shovel and a brick oven.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Very much so.
Yeah, and now we are, and as you go upstairs, then you start seeing the modern era of steel, and it's all right here in the museum here in Youngstown.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a mix of that. You can see some iron development, which started here in the early 19th century, and we have a stone stack replica upstairs. Through the mining, which took place all over this area. If you have a good eye and you look around, you can still see some old remnants too.
Yeah, sure can.
And then from iron to steel, through it. And when we're talking about that time, it's moving on the railways. It's building the railways. We were pretty instrumental. 1803 we became a state, but we were right there. We were ready to go from the word go.
Yeah. I love this museum. Makes me feel like I'm back home in a way. You know, I still miss Dad, and I just feel like we're together when we're here. Thanks for letting me carry this thing around. Let me ask you about the museum. What are your hours? How can one of our viewers, maybe that aren't in the area, do you have a website? Tell us about how they can visit this museum the multiple ways.
We have a website of our own, and it's Youngstown Historical Center of Industry and Labor.org.
All right.
Our Facebook page.
And I'm going to put a link to these websites in the description box, guys.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. You can come visit us in person.
Yeah.
If you have a big group of people, we'll do a tour for you. So you can schedule that ahead. Then we'll come in whenever you want.
Okay. Guys, this is right on the campus at Youngstown State. It's easy to find. They have a big parking lot. Parking is not a problem.
Yep.
It is a nice time just to come in here. Even in the wintertime, it's warm and it's just an inviting place. Guys, I just thought you would like seeing this. I get a lot of feedback from our viewers, that are in a different country, and they just like to see a little bit more about the Mahoning Valley. Well, here you go. And this place means a lot to me. Nikki, thanks for having us out. I appreciate you showing us the museum and letting us in. And it's neat to know that my firewood is on display here at the museum. That I like to think my dad built this place,
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming.
Yeah.
It's nice to have you here. It really is. And I can totally appreciate what you mean about having your dad here, because my dad worked in the mills too.
Sure.
And it's nice to have his helmet here with you. Would you ever consider donating this to the museum?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That means a lot. And I think Dad would really, really like that. Yeah. But I tell you what,
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me 30 seconds?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Excuse me. Do you have a piece of paper, like a Post-it note and a pen or something? Yes. I would love to donate this.
That's
It
fantastic.
means a lot.
Thank you so much. Well, and it means a lot to us too. We'll take good care of it, I promise you.
Yeah. Well, guys, here's another reason, stop at the Steelworkers Museum. You can see my dad's retirement helmet on display here.
It is pretty cool.
That's an honor.
It's a good one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate this.
All right, well, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
And it really does mean a lot. So guys, please check out the websites for the Steelworkers Museum. And if you're in the Mahoning Valley, stop in here and tell them that you saw them on Ohio Woodburner.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
This was nice.
All right, guys. Let me know what you think. And everyone have a great day.